So, back in the garage, finally got a whole bunch of my parts in, and we got RecoveryOne in the garage, getting some much needed love with some PSC, the Hydro Assist Steer Kit from, well, I ordered it from Northridge, 4x4. So we'll see how this goes. I'll try and film some of it, but if you've seen my other videos, I don't have the space in here because this is a very tiny garage. Alright, let's get after it. Alright, so it's the next morning. Got pretty much all of the steering out of the Jeep. You can kind of see here. I don't know where my light went, but all I got left is the gearbox to come out, but I gotta remove the track arm and probably drop down the drag link for easier access. And I'm gonna reroute all of my transmission cooler lines to another place when I put the new box up, because they're kind of touching the pitman arm down there. So yeah, we'll tidy that up once we get everything as we go back in. Didn't film any of that because it was night and I was tired, and it's morning and I got the little buddy heater working overtime in my tiny garage, which it'll heat up real quick and clothes will start coming off. Don't worry, I won't film that for YouTube. Ain't nobody want to see that. Alright, and then we gotta start opening our gifts from, got some PSC gifts. Alright, well, let's get after it.
Same kind of deal down here. Every time I use a sock shackle, they tear.
Alright, so I'm gonna show you guys some cool stuff. Hang on. Alright, so there's many different companies that pack many different things, and I have unpacked many of different things from many of different companies. And this has to be by far the best packed boxes I have ever seen from any manufacturer. Everything was wrapped very nice and neatly and tautly with paper. Foam is good, but paper is better. Trust me, I've learned that over the years. But look at this packaging. Kind of get out of the way of the light. But look at the packaging. You got what looks like your pump. You got your cooler. I haven't opened up the bore box yet. We'll do that here in a second and I'll show you. But look just how neat this is. Got some of your hoses here that go from the pump. Fantastic. 10 out of 10 on box etiquette from PSC. Alright, let's unwrap some more stuff, some more goodies. Alright guys, finally got the gearbox out after a little bit of persuasion. The tie rod end there, but look at the massive size difference between the actual steer gearboxes. Total beefcake. And you got the massive pitman arm, and I want to make sure that if you guys ever want to run this, it comes with bolts that go through this into the frame. Make sure you use these on the front of the Jeep, or else you'll have some serious problems down the road. The ones with the washers that come with the kit go on the front of the Jeep here. Can't really see that very well. The two back ones are factory hardware. One's washers up front. Kind of cleaning up the engine bay just a little bit while we oh, I got a little baby light right here, I'll show you. Yeah, so yeah, those two get washers, and then those two get factory hardware. Not that big of a deal, just make sure you do that. And look how dirty this engine bay actually is. My goodness. Cleaning up everything down here. I'm going to reroute these transmission cooler lines. And I'm going to somehow muscle that up there all by myself, because I do not have a second set of hands. We're getting it. It's not like we're under any kind of time crunch, really. So go slow, clean up your work as you go along, and that's all I got. We're gonna have a lot of work ahead of us putting it back together. Alright guys, update so far. We got our power steering pump in and we're starting to do our plumbing. We also got our gearbox. Kind of see it down there. Our gearbox is now in. Don't worry, I didn't put that in there by myself. It is heavy. And nice. Yeah. I did bench press that thing up there while somebody assisted me with the bolts through there. Just like we were explaining earlier, washers, good lord. Washers in the front, factory hardware in the rear. Starting to plumb things together. Nice, nice, nice. And we're gonna kind of organize this a little bit more. I got all the hoses and stuff where I want them to be. We're gonna have to degrease all of that. There's power steering fluid everywhere. Got my little cheat sheet that came with the RAM. And I'm not entirely sure, because I tried looking up the place that PSC wants you to mount the reservoir here. They kind of want you to put it here on the 3.6s, but I keep seeing stuff where they want you to put it here. Alright, got everything pretty much plumbed up besides the hydraulic ram. Got this bracket for the reservoir all together. Got everything attached to the big bore PSC steering gearbox. Now we're dealing with this nonsense. So we gotta cut these little brackets off over here. You can kind of see that very well. I already started cutting into it, so that way this plate right here, I'm gonna hold this up, can go. It's very heavy. I can't hold that with my hand. Okay. Oh. That will go like that. Right there. I'm gonna have to cut that bracket off on the bottom because this is not completely factory. So I have to cut this off, grind it down nice and smooth so we can put our little bracket like this over the top, like that. Don't think I'll have to cut too much more, just a little bit here and there, and that should be fine to get the job done. And then I'll probably have to grind this down a little bit to get the bracket to line up through the hole in the back. You can kind of see that hole right there underneath the shock mount. That's where the bottom one mounts to. Yeah, so this isn't exactly a completely full bolt on. You do have to do some cutting and grinding to your track bar bracket. As you can see, mine's the early model of the 2007s. And it looks like somebody had messed with it before I had purchased this vehicle. Very strong, haven't had any problems with it, so I'm gonna leave most of it, just cut off the little ends here. And then all we gotta do is mount up the ram. Mount up the ram, plumb it, flood it, fill it, slap it, turn it, maybe twist it a little bit. And that's basically all we got left. all this madness down here on the floor. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's been pretty much an all-day project. Been kind of taking it nice and slow for the most part. A lot of the older, I guess, install videos, they make you want to put the reservoir over here, but the new ones have a bracket that hang out here on the front, which I don't mind all that much. Keeps it away from the hot pockets in the back of the engine compartment, which we're gonna have to do some heat disbursement some point or another. I'm thinking we'll put some hood vents at some point in time just to keep the engine bay cool. Other than that, and then, oh yeah, another thing. They want you to run the cooler up on top of this bracket inside the grill. I am opting to put it on the bottom of the grill right in here. I might have to change some things up so I can fit the grill back in there, but I'm thinking this is going to work out a lot better for me because I have a Mishimoto external transmission cooler plumbed in. So typically you'd run it through your condenser, which we all know doesn't work the best. So I have it going through the condenser and then through my Mishimoto, cooling it back down and off to the transmission for that extra cooling power, because Jeeps love to cook transmission fluid. They also love to cook power steering fluid too, so once you go wheeling quite a bit, it'll boil out and it'll start coming out the actual cap. So you'll hear the whining noise or the kind of roughness in the wheel after a long day of wheeling. And that's what we're here to avoid with this PSE kit. Alright, and then, yeah, got a lot to do after this build as well. Full brake booster, master cylinder, big brakes, and then hopefully axles after that, and then with the long arm system. That's the dream. guys, it is the next day, next evening, here in the shop. My little buddy heater down here ran out of propane, so we're doing it in the cold. So you get the beanie and the gloves. Everything is buttoned up, put back together, pretty much. Pain in the butt to get all of those hoses routed where they need to be under here with all of my shenanigans. I don't know if you guys can really see that all that well. Yeah, it is really tight in there. Let's see if I can get all of those hoses and lines, and we're pretty much ready to fill. One thing that I did not foresee is using the factory knuckles. I'm hitting the ram with the tie rod. Drag link does hit the bracket down here, but it should not be that much of a factor. Sorry, here we go. Does hit the bracket just barely, so I might end up heating that up and bending that back right here, bending all of this, or grinding it down here on this bracket right there. Not a huge problem. It barely touches, but the bracket, or not the bracket, but the knuckle comes from underneath on these Jeeps. So I ordered a flip bracket, so I'll probably have to drill that out a little bit. Maybe, possibly, we'll see. But got the ram all set up and ready to go. I need to tighten this down a little bit, and then we're just putting fluid in it, bleeding it out. Very simple. Just put fluid in it, let it bleed down a little bit, rock the wheel back and forth, side to side, and then that's pretty much it. So yeah, rock the wheel back side to side, fire it up, let it suck all the fluid down, turn it off, put more fluid in there, rock the wheel back and forth again. The pump might squeal just a little bit, but not a crazy amount. It'll go away after a few seconds. Another thing I had a problem with was the air-raid cold air intake. The box actually sticks out this way towards the engine a little bit more than I wanted. So I kind of had to run this hose a little closer to the pump than I wanted to. As you can see, it is not touching. So I'll probably have to bend this box back a little bit as well, just to keep all of that happy. Or I'll just get a different air box, or put my factory one back on, because I still have it sitting over there in the corner. Haven't been the happiest with this air box. It is kind of the cheaper ones of their air-raid stuff, but they were super helpful when I had problems with Quadratech, who I ordered it from. It was mismatched parts, boxed wrong, had more parts of, I had 2 of these and nothing else. That was pretty much it. No hardware to go with it. That's pretty much it. I don't know if I'm going to film it. I might film a couple of the test drives here, but other than that, hydro assist steering is in. I'm going to create a little L bracket down here for the cooler. Have the cooler mounted down here under because I have my Mishimoto transmission cooler right here out in front. I could run a dual cooler, but supposedly those coolers that came with the kit work super effectively. A lot of people run them, and I haven't heard too many complaints. That's it. We got a couple more projects left to go. I don't know if I'll make any of the New Year's runs here in the St. Louis area, unfortunately, but we should be good to go for a while at least. And then we got some stuff planned for next year. I think, well, we're going to hit up a bunch of Jeep Badge Trail of Honor trails. We have Indiana, Stony Lonesome or something like that, and we're going to the Tread Lightly in Florida, and then we might be heading back out to Moab. Talks about that with Jeep peeps, so we'll see that in the near future. I'm gonna clean up my really messy garage probably tomorrow because procrastination. And yeah, here's some test driving from the Hydro Assist steering.